What's up, everybody? So, Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning, released in 1985 and directed by a porn director. And the reason I don't say his name, and I just point out the fact that he directed porn, is because that's like the one thing this movie's known for, is its softcore porn elements. Like, there was a lot of it. This one has the most nudity, the most gratuitous nudity out of the entire franchise, before or after. You get the most breasts in this, some of the best breasts, you know. Deborah Voorhees probably had the best pair of tits in this. She was smoking fucking hot, still sexy today. And she's got a new project coming out soon called 13 Fanboys, so look into that because that's coming out soon. It's going to be really awesome from what I've heard. But Part 5, yeah, it's controversial, but it's still a cool entry into the franchise. It can't be any worse than other controversial elements like Jason Goes to Hell, you know, or Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I do like the certain things about Part 5. I'll go ahead and get into my likes and then I'll throw my dislikes at you. As far as likes, I gotta say I liked Tommy in this. That's not my favorite version of Tommy Jarvis, I gotta say. He's bizarre, alright? He's fucking weird. He's weird as shit, but I mean, you gotta look at it from the character's point of view, perspective, you know. If you went through the shit that Tommy Jarvis went through in parts 4 and then 5 and then 6, well, this is before 6, but you get what I'm saying. You would be fucked up mentally, royally fucked up, if you were Tommy in this particular film, because by now he's already had his mind fried with all the fucking drugs they gave him. They gave him every kind of therapy they could think of, so he's a fucking lunatic, but it's not his fault. You know, he lost his sister. His sister's not dead, but apparently she doesn't give a shit about him because we don't see her come visit him one time at Pinehurst. And that's where this movie centers at, is this halfway house for fucked up kids in the middle of fucking nowhere. Still not far away from Crystal Lake, I don't think. It's kind of near where the previous installment took place at the Jarvis house. So, Tommy, yeah, he's really a victim, you know, of this. But the guy that plays him, John Shepard, does a good job of conveying that weird, schizophrenic, paranoid, delusional. Shit, man. Anything you can associate with mental disorder, PTSD, it's horrible, you know. But he does a great job at portraying that in this. They wanted him back for Part 6 to play Tommy again, but he opted not to do it for personal reasons. So I don't really know what the reasons were, but John Shepard was kind of weird anyway, so maybe I think there's a little bit of Tommy really in him. He's just not that forward about talking about it. But anyways, there's other characters in this that I liked, such as Reggie the Reckless. This was one cool ass little fucking kid. I really liked this boy. He was a smart ass, but he was funny as hell. And he wasn't afraid to take the fight to Roy in this. And Roy, if you're not familiar with that, that's the would-be Jason in this. We didn't actually get Jason in this movie, so and that's another thing people bitch about, is that it wasn't really Jason. Well, motherfucker, in Halloween 3 we didn't get Michael Myers either, but everybody fucking loves that movie nowadays. It's like considered one of the classics in the Halloween franchise, even though it's not technically a part of the franchise. This one right here, you could say, is the Halloween 3 of the Friday movies, because it doesn't have Jason in it. I mean, there's hallucinations of the real Jason from Part 4, Ted White's version. You know, you see him in Tommy's mind, and this motherfucker is going apeshit in this, because every time you see him, he's either seeing Jason standing in a fucking field with a bunch of chickens and shit, and he's in his fucking bedroom when he turns around with an axe in his hand. So, I mean, Tommy's really a fucking basket case in this. But, yeah, Jason's not really in it. It's a paramedic named Roy that arrives at the scene once one of the halfway house kids is butchered. One of the mentally fucked up kids, Joey, dies trying to give a candy bar to this other guy, Victor J. Fadden. And if you ask me, Victor was the real fucking psycho in this, besides Roy. Because he goes unglued, unhinged when Joey just tried to offer him a fucking chocolate bar. And the motherfucker takes the axe and just chopped the fuck out of this kid. You know, this poor little defenseless, mentally challenged dude. But what gets me is the girls doing laundry. Joey goes over there to help them do the laundry, and he gets chocolate all over the fucking sheets. And they lose their shit and cuss him out and tell him to get the hell out of there. But minutes later, after Joey's died, these girls are crying their fucking eyes out, like they really gave a shit. Like they really fucking cared about Joey. They didn't give a fuck. They were just scared. But don't cry like you cared. You didn't give 2 fucks about Joey 5 minutes ago. So bitches, shut the fuck up. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was this redneck couple. Well, it wasn't a couple. It was a mother and son. But who knows? They look like a couple of inbred fucktards, you know, to me. But they're funny as hell. And that's Ethel and Junior. And they're kind of the comedy relief in this, other than Reggie the Reckless. They got a good back and forth with the sheriff, who looks like a mixture between Jay Leno and George Clooney. That's who Sheriff Tucker looks like, you know. And Tucker was alright. He was not as good as the sheriff in Part 6, Sheriff Garris, but Tucker was okay for what they called for in this film, you know. Kind of a throwaway character because you never see him again after this. Pam, gotta bring up Pam, Melody Kinnaman. I think I'm saying her name right. She played Pam in this, and she was kind of the director of things in the Pinehurst Youth Center. She introduces Tommy to the head of the place. I don't know who the fuck this guy was, some dude named Matt, but he's kind of a one-off character because we don't really get much from him other than a few conversations with the fucking sheriff. That's about it. But Pam was the forefront in this, and she was trying to help Tommy feel more comfortable and shit. I liked her though. She played a pretty good final girl in the showdown of this between her and Roy. She really kicked his ass. I mean, she ran like a bitch. You know, which girl wasn't? You know, she was scared to fucking death. It came down to just her and Reggie after Roy had killed every fucking body else at this place. I mean, he took out a couple of greasers in a cornfield somewhere, you know, and stuck a flare in this one dude's mouth, sliced the other one's fucking throat. So for him not to be Jason, he was pretty damn vigilant. He was stealthy as fuck. Roy did a pretty good job, you know. His performance as Jason was kind of wooden, kind of stiff. I didn't really like the way he walked, you know. It was kind of lackluster, but I mean, he just seemed a little mentally fucked up, so maybe he didn't give a shit. He just wanted to kill as many fucking kids as they could and blame it all on Jason, because he knew if they thought it was him that he would be in the clear. So it's kind of perfect cover-up, if you ask me. And so once they get to the third act, I guess the only dislike I got is the ending. They try to sell us on the fact that Tommy Jarvis is going to be the next Jason. Because in the barn scene, we see where Roy has killed everybody. He's killed Demon, Reggie the Reckless's brother, who was played by the guy who played Spider in Return of the Living Dead. He was also in Joanna Man and fucking Leprechaun 4. Really underrated actor, but dude's funny as fuck. Gail A. Nunez, I believe is his name. And Demon, he had some pretty funny ass fucking lines in this. You know, it's them damn enchiladas! You know, he runs all the way to the fucking porta potty. The steel made fucking porta potty. Only time I've ever seen a porta potty made is fucking steel. But it's a nasty ass shit box, and ugh, damn, it's fucking hot. He dies in the shit box. You don't die in the shit box, man. That's a horrible way to fucking go. You know, his girlfriend Anita gets slaughtered by Roy. He slices her throat and then takes a big ass spear or rod and just stabs through it and kills Demon. You know, so he died on the shitter. That's like the worst way to go in a horror movie, I would say. Definitely the shittiest way to go, unintended. But like I said, once you get to the third act, it's down now to Pam, Reggie, and Roy. Because Roy's already killed his paramedic partner, you know, left him to fucking die in the ambulance. And once they get to the barn, it's kind of reminiscent of Part 3. Because you get this final showdown between Pam and Roy, and she takes it to him, you know. She fucking slices him with a chainsaw, fucking right there on the arm. So Roy takes a lot of damage in this. Not to be Jason, but he takes a lot of substantial damage in this. It keeps moving, it keeps going. Which is pretty cool, you know. It's like, how the fuck is this guy doing this unless he was on PCP, some kind of fucking drugs, and he just wasn't feeling the shit. It's my theory, anyways, of how they kept going without stopping. I mean, he gets stabbed in the thigh with a fucking pocket knife from Tommy. He gets run over by a fucking tractor with Reggie driving it. So, you know, Reggie might scream like a little bitch at a few points in this movie, but he'll kick your ass, even in a little red tracksuit. And once they get in the barn, you know, that's when Pam kicks his ass with a chainsaw, and Tommy tried to face him one-on-one, but Tommy's fragile mind couldn't allow him to realize this wasn't really Jason. and it was just some fucking mentally unhinged paramedic that was out for revenge of his son. We find out at the end of this that it was Roy's son, Joey, who was butchered at the Pinehurst place, but why should he give a damn? I mean, he fucking deserted Joey when he was born. We're led to find out later. He never even gave two fucks about him. His mother died giving birth, and Roy took off before he was even grown, so I don't get what the hell he really gave a fuck about seeing his kid dead, you know? It's not like he'd been there for him his whole life, so why go ape shit and kill everybody over a kid you didn't give two fucks about the last 15, 20 years? So this movie I got kind of mixed feelings on, but it's not the best, but it's not the worst, you know? And like I said, at the end, we find out that it was Roy when they throw his cracker ass off the barn into these spikes and shit. And then you're left with that somewhat bittersweet ending at the hospital. The cop explains to Pam that the whole time it was Roy and that he used to Jason cover up to hide his real motives and to hide the fact that it was him. But she gets up, goes to his room, and we're given this weird ass dream sequence. I guess from Pam's perspective or Tommy's, I don't know which. It's kind of fucking confusing because Tommy lifts the sheet up, he starts grabbing a knife and stabs Pam in the gut and laughing hysterically. And then he wakes up, you know, in a cold sweat and just having a major shit attack because he has a lot of these panic attacks and everything in this. And it really, like I said, conveys that mentally dishinged person very well. And he sees the real Jason standing in front of his hospital bed. And he's like, he gets this weird fucking stoic, creeped out look, but then he starts looking very like sinister and shit, like he knows what he has to do. For some reason Jason possessed him, or just the memory of him has driven him completely ape shit insane. I'm trying to find the right words for it. He gets up, gets the mask that Roy had, and we see Pam now walking down the hallway for real to Tommy's room, and you hear this big ass clash, and the fucking window breaks out. She goes walking in and thinks Tommy has escaped and jumped out the fucking window or committed suicide, probably. Someone like him probably would kill themselves in this situation, as much shit he's been through. But the door closes and Tommy's behind her with a knife and a mask on. And then the camera pans in slowly, and we're left on that. So we're supposed to assume that he killed Pam, but I've heard that he didn't kill her, that he ran down the hallways with a knife in his hand and a mask on and his hospital gown, so imagine how ridiculous that looks, you know, and that's the ending of this. And then in part 6, they don't do shit with it. You know, they lead us to believe that Tommy was going to be the next Jason, but in part 6, he's kind of like a fucking, not really a victim, he's more of a survivor, you know. He's nothing like his portrayal in this one, which I'm glad because I didn't really like the take on Tommy in this. I didn't really like how weird and fucked up he was, but it's understandable why he would act like that. So it's just, I guess, you know, I love the comedy aspects in this, but all the rest of the shit's just kind of fucking retarded and weird. But that's just my thoughts on it. So yeah, that's Friday 5 in a nutshell. And I'm just about to get in Jason Lives, so until next time, I will see you later.